On that, I'm going to give you this. And first, but I want you to talk. I'm going to let you talk a little bit if you'd like here.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Tony, Terry, Board of Supervisors. So I just want to say 25 years on paper seems a very long time, but in reality, it just seems like yesterday. You know, that's what happens when you have a great team. You know, I didn't walk this walk alone. I have a great team as far as under myself, great staffing, great leaders, you know, Tony Vartan, Pam Esparza, Ama Torres, the whole SLT team, senior leadership team at BHRS is wonderful, and they've been very supportive. That's what really fuels me, you know, to have that kind of support and encouragement. They empower me every day to really give it my best so that I can continue to support staff and the consumers and the community that we serve. So really grateful to be a part of this wonderful family. Our county is, it sounds like a cliche, but it's a wonderful county. It's been my family, my second family for more than 25 years actually, but you know, look who's counting. It is, like Tony said, it's a miracle that I'm here today. A year ago in October, I had a massive heart attack. Ama Torres, and Pam Esparza, and the whole BHRS team saved my life. And Supervisor Condit and Jody Hayes, you know, they rightfully honored Ama and the rest of the team that saved my life when I came back to work not too long ago. So I'm really grateful for everyone, really, and the team and the leadership team at BHRS. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to going 20 more years, right, Terry? So thank you.
I just want to add something, Terry, that, and for the board, that Tommy and his family are great contributors in behavioral health services. I've known this family for about 30 years, maybe a little over 30 years. And Tommy's brother, of course, is our, you know, he's worked with me, I think, when I was first here at BHRS, and I've known him that far. And Kevin has been our assistant director now. But also, Tommy's sister is a therapist, and she has also been working in the field serving our underserved population. So I want to thank you. Great, humble family and great contributors to the community. Thank you.
Take a picture. Okay, I'm going to stay down here. And the next one, we're going to start off, have Marianne Lilly. Marianne, come on up, and I'll just hang out down here if I can.
Good morning. I am very pleased to be here this morning to to honor one of our employees and 25 years of service, Linda Perino. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Linda and her service here in the county. So Linda has been a nurse since 1980. She started in our high-risk maternal child health home visiting program in 1997, where she provided case management to high-risk children and their families for 11 years. And I can say Linda was very gracious. I had the benefit of going out on a ride with her so that I could understand better. She's a great teacher and showed me what that means to go out and do home visits to serve the community. Linda became a public health nurse 3 in 2008 and led the immunization program during the H1N1, coordinating and overseeing mass vaccination clinics that public health held. In 2012, she really took on the responsibility for launching the Nurse Family Partnership Program from the ground up, providing supervision for the high-risk maternal child health program. Linda has served in a leadership role with CNA, maintaining positive relationships with the county while advocating for staff. Linda participated in the county mentoring program since 1998, primarily going to John Muir Elementary to read with kids on her lunch hour. She started out in the program helping with a celebration for mentees prior to becoming a mentor. Her passion for the community led her also to serve on the Airport Advisory Committee for about 10 years. Not surprisingly, Linda was pulled into the pandemic response. She served as lead for the team fielding questions about COVID from medical providers. This included troubleshooting, planning for hospital discharge with patients with COVID, taking death reports, taking reports of new positive cases on paper until an electronic system was in place. She transitioned to a lead role once vaccines were available and oversaw the Oakdale mass vaccination clinic and filling in as needed in other locations. Linda has worked tirelessly to maintain the nurse-family partnership program, has seen a lot of staff turnover, and really it's her diligence and work ethic that have made the program a success. She continues to provide ongoing clinical practice support to her coworker, public health nurses. She's seen a lot of transitions in her time, including from paper to electronic charting. Linda is an example of diligent learning, continuing to press into areas of growth and taking on learning opportunities. Linda has been a real asset to the Health Services Agency, serving this community. If you really want to see passion, ask her about her 4-year-old twin grandchildren. I am pleased to present to you Linda Perino, and I thank her for her 25 years of service.
Okay, Linda, first congratulations on the 25 years. And you can kind of see a theme here today. We've had our behavioral health services, our mental health services, our health service agencies, and we're going to have community service agency individuals here too. And so it's really just all about serving, right? And I think that's probably why we're all put on this planet, is probably to serve individuals and try to make other people's lives better. So there's not a better, perfect example than what you've done here. In 25 years, like we said, it goes by very quickly. And hopefully, I don't know, with 2 twin grandchildren there, it's probably tough to stay and come into work when you've got those at home to play with, I'm sure. But we hope we can keep you for many more years. And again, congratulations. Thank you very much. And I'm going to let you talk.
Okay. I'll take my mask off. So I've been here 25 years. My mother-in-law got me here. My mother-in-law was a nurse. She worked at the county for 28 years. She said, you need to come to work for the county. And they wanted me to work 12 hours at the hospital. That didn't work good for my life. And I had gotten the opportunity, and Nancy Fisher knew my mother-in-law and had an agreement with her. And they helped me through Stanislaus State to be able to come and mentor here all by myself through Dominguez Hills. And then she would come by the PACU at Doctors Medical Center, because I worked there. I started there when they opened in 1990, when we came from City Hospital. So I was there the night in 1990 when we opened. I actually kept my job there until 2020, and I would deliver some of the patients that I saw out in the field. They'd be my clients out in the field, and I get to see them in high risk, and then I might deliver them at the hospital. So I've had a vast opportunity to really work with the community, and my mother-in-law helped me get there. She worked for 28 years for the county, and she lived until she was 96 years old. I was blessed to have her. So wonderful opportunity. HSA is a community, which we work with CSA, we work with BHRS. I was with BHRS last week. CSA on Wednesday afternoon, they were answering their phone when they're supposed to be on silent time, and they were answering their phone to help clients. So through HSA and home visiting, we work with all the areas, and we appreciate them all and all that they do, because they're amazing to have a team that you can work with. So I've been very blessed. It's like a second family through HSA, and then working through that. And through the COVID clinics, Oh my gosh. And through even, because I was in charge of flu clinics before that, I got to work with so many people throughout the community who came to be pulled into those, and then we really got to know each other because we were having those face-to-face places that they were helping us out. You got to know somebody and who to call later and who could help you out with your client to make sure that everything worked out well for them. So it's been a great journey to be able to be a part of all those things. So thank you very much.
Lennon, we're going to take a picture here. I can tell we're going to get 25 more years out of you. I can just tell from listening to your passion. Okay, next up, I think Christine Huber is going to come up, and I'm going to thank Christine. We got to go meet with the governor last week, and I appreciate Christine coming for that. So, okay, you're up.
Good morning. I'm here to recognize Corazon Hernandez for her 30 years of service to Stanislaus County. She began her actually at Health Services Agency and worked there for 18 years in different administrative duties. She came to CSA in 2010 and began her career as a family service specialist in assisting families in the community, administering and explaining multiple programs such as CalWorks, CalFresh, and Medi-Cal. She currently works in the CalFresh reevaluation unit, where she provides exceptional customer service to our community by interviewing them for CalFresh benefits. Over the past 30 years, Corazon has participated in countless committees and worked on various projects such as the Kaizen Project Committee, the Morale Committee, and the Sunshine Committee, just to name a few. Corazon has also served as a trainer and mentor to her peers. While she was working at the county, she also started and ran her own housekeeping business for 10 years. She has been the recipient of various scholarships from the American Business Women's Association, Modesto Junior College, and the Earl Pride Scholarship from Stanislaus County. Corazon has proven strong leadership traits of accountability, dependability, integrity, and loyalty throughout her years of service. She has a wealth of knowledge and expertise that she has shared with peers through training and mentoring. She has strong customer service skills and has been proven through her generosity and kindness while working in the CalFresh reevaluation unit. She interviews each customer with respect and thoughtfulness. She has gone beyond just interviewing customers by evaluating and offering suggestions that have also helped improve our business processes. Corazon's community involvement throughout the years includes being a member of the American Business Women's Association, the Quarter Time Club, and an affiliate of the University of California at Davis School of Medicine and Doctors Medical Center. She has 2 daughters aged 31 and 29, and her hobbies include traveling, running, dancing, and cooking. She also enjoys water sports. She is an asset to the agency, her peers, and our customers, and we are so grateful to have a dedicated member on our team. Congratulations.
Corazon, thank you very much. Congratulations on the 30 years. So it's obvious you must have started when you were 8 years old. You probably started very young. And so, again, the service, everything you've done for our community, and what you do through the Community Service Agency, we so much appreciate all you've done. And I'm just going to let you talk here a little bit.
Thank you.
I'll hold this for you.
So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. My life's purpose, I feel like, has been to serve others, help others, assist others. And I feel every day I meet that goal. Just one thing I'd like to share, I've said it before, but when I first interviewed for Stanislaus County, one of the questions I was asked is, what is one of your long-term goals? And I said to retire with Stanislaus County. So it's nice to be reminded of all the things that I achieve and every year. So thank you.
And you're not retiring, right? You're not going anywhere.
25 more years.
Perfect. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Let's take a picture here real quick. Okay, next up, Marianne Lilly is going to come back for our next one.
Okay. Excuse me. Now I'm happy to present a 30-year service employee. With me here is Motu Du. Motu came to the United States in 1989 as a refugee from Cambodia. While in the refugee camp, she trained as a nurse practitioner with a specialty in women's health and pregnancy. She started working at HSA in 1991 as a community health worker too, doing perinatal outreach to bring women into prenatal care. In 1993, as a full-time, promoted to a full-time community health worker 3 position, and went to work at the Medical Arts Building to provide case management and education to women currently in prenatal care with the Health Services Agency. She then moved back to a public health division of Family Health Services, where she worked doing outreach again to bring pregnant women into care, and then transitioned being a case manager for pregnant and parenting women and teens, as well as working in the high-risk maternal child health, where her special language skills were really an asset to serve the community. She spent the bulk of her time in adolescent family life and CalLearn programs, where she works with pregnant and parenting teams to help them reach their goals, including high school graduation and entry into college or other educational opportunities or the job market. She was also pulled into the pandemic response, served as a contact tracer and educator, and then working with colleagues, she was able to, while some of her colleagues were working on the pandemic response, help to support the clients in the adolescent family life and CalLearn programs. She has seen a lot of transition through her years here too, including paper to electronic charting. She is always focused on serving the community. She finds hope in helping young parents starting out in life and forming a strong foundation for the future. She enjoys being able to see the results of her work with teens and helping them have more opportunities in life. Motu's family is very important to her. She has raised 3 children who have grown into successful, accomplished adults, and she's expecting her first grandchild. So I'm very pleased to present to you Motu and thank her for her 30 years of service.
So Motu, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just as we, with Tommy and Linda and Corazon, and we talk about the service, and what a commitment it is to our county and just to your fellow man, what you do, and then add in the aspect, the additional that you have with regard to immigration to this country, and then so you come here from probably a rough situation, and you get here, and then you turn around and you give back to this community, and you come here and start taking care of people. So we're honored very much to have you here, to have you work at the county, for all that you do, as we are with all of them that we've had here. And congratulations on your 30 years, and it's your time to talk.
Thank you.
Thanks for Stanislaus County that let me learn and grow and to serve my community, love and caring. That's all I can say.
Marianne, do you want to come up? Okay, and Marianne, I think you're still up.
Okay, drum roll. This is 35 years. Lisa, will you join me? Okay, unlike Lisa's years of service, this is going to be short and sweet because I understand that's really what you would like. So, Lisa started as a housekeeper custodian in 1987. And during that time, she worked swing shift and took courses at JC, IT courses. And that led to a career change in 1991 when she became a programmer analyst 1. She has, Through her tenure, she has seen 3 different IT names in the county: Management Information Services, Strategic Business Technology, and now IT Central. But most of her time has been spent in the Health Services Agency. So she has been a Programmer Analyst 2, a Software Developer 2, Software Developer Analyst 3, Application Specialist 3, and now Technology Specialist 3. Lisa has been described as a very humble person and one of the most helpful colleagues. You know, IT, without IT, all of what we do, we really can't do. It's the backbone. And what you don't see behind the scenes, whether it's consolidation or expansion or new programs or new technology, she has seen so much in her years. The kind of work that's happening really behind the scenes to support everything that we do, Lisa's a part of that. And I really am just so grateful to her knowledge and her dedication to help support the Health Services Agency and the county, really, so that we can serve the community. So I am very pleased to present to you Lisa Bodie for her 35 years of service.
Okay, Lisa, 35 years. Probably doesn't seem like that, I'm sure.
Time
But
flies.
so you probably kind of got involved in the IT, kind of on the ground floor, probably when a lot of stuff was going on.
Back
So
when the mainframes were out and, yep.
yeah. So we very much appreciate it. As Mary Ann said, we just can't do this without you guys and what it takes to make this happen. And so I hope you're not going anywhere for a while. I'm sure
Not for a while.
we very much still need you. And I know they wanted to make it quick, but I'm going to let you talk here.
No. Well, it has gone by really fast, and I've enjoyed working for the county, and it's been a great experience, and here's to a number of more years. So.
All right.
Okay, we're going to take a picture. Let you hold that. Thank you very much. Okay, that's it.
170 years. Seems about right. Close.
Okay, that was great. It's always fun to be able to recognize everybody. We'll let some people leave here if they're going to head back to work, I'm sure. But yeah, there's nothing nicer than to recognize and have people who have worked that long for an organization. We just hired somebody in my office, and they lasted 3 weeks and left. And so it says something about me, maybe, but yeah, when I see somebody for 35 years, it's just amazing, and just all the service everybody's done. So thank you all very much. Okay, we're going to move on to our public comment portion of the meeting, and this is the time when anyone can speak about anything that they'd like that's not on the agenda. You could also speak about an item on the agenda when we come to those. But I've got a lot of speaker cards here, and we allow everybody 5 minutes to speak. And I'll just go through these cards, and even if you haven't filled out a speaker card, you can still speak after we go through all the cards if you'd like to talk and you just didn't fill one out. So I'm going to start off with Teresa Tovar will be the first one. Teresa? Teresa, good morning. How are you?
Good morning to all of you. My name is Teresa Tovar. I'm a in-home supportive service provider for my dad. This is my father. His name is Rogelio Arauza. He's been a resident of Stanislaus County for over 60 years. In his 60 years, he has worked all types of jobs, agriculture, manufacturing. Unfortunately, now that he needs the help, I'm having a real hard struggle trying to find a caregiver for him. He has declined in health since since December of last year. It's going to be a year since he's had his health struggles, and I can't find a caregiver. I have posted help wanted signs at churches, at laundromats, at supermarkets. It is a very hard struggle, and I hope you guys understand that. I was supposed to sign up as a caregiver as an extra person
not as his caregiver, as I also struggle with my health. You don't know how it is to call people and ask for them to come and help my dad. And when I tell them it's $15.50 an hour, they think it's a joke. They don't even give me the time to explain the situation. I'm struggling. I have hospice helping me at this time. And I pray that my dad can find the caregiver that can give him the service so I don't have to put him in a nursing home. Because that is my struggle. And I'm sure it's the struggle of many of our clients that are elderly and disabled. I'm pleading for you to please help us. $15.50 an hour is not a livable wage. You go to the grocery store, everything, eggs $5, oil, small thing $5. People can't live off of that. I'm begging you to please reconsider the contract negotiations. My dad has helped the community. I can't get the community helped my dad, and I'm the one struggling with it. I do have hospice help now that I am grateful for, but I'm just pleading with you to please consider my dad's story is not unique. I'm sure a lot of these people have the same kind of story, and I just need some assistance. So please reconsider your situation with the contract negotiations. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay, next up we have Timothy Benfield. Timothy, good morning. How are you?
Very good. Yes, sir. Pastor Tim Benefield, and hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. And but I do want to take just a moment and say I love seeing all the employees honored. I know the Bible specifically talks about that one of the jobs of government is to praise them that do well. So it's awesome to see these folks honored. I just came today for one specific purpose, just an earnest plea for, I don't know what role that this board plays in this, but I know this is a county function as far as counting or tabulating results on our election in a timely manner. It just seems a lot of words come to my mind, disconcerting, concerning, sometimes infuriating. Sometimes it seems a little bit absurd that it's taking weeks to count votes. And no matter who I support or don't support, what I want, and I think just about any person would say, is a honest, competent election. If my guy loses and everything was competent and honest and all that, I'm fine with that. We've got to have integrity. And I'm not saying we don't right now. What I'm saying is when things last forever, it really provides uneasiness about what may or may not be going on. So I really feel like when people have a job, and we've got 2 years till the next election, whoever oversees that, I would think if I were in those shoes, it would be my top priority that when the next election comes around, that I could get those things counted. And I understand you've got some things you don't control. For example, if you have to accept ballots that are mailed the day of the election, which is of course absurd, but that's out of your control. But once we have them, I don't understand why it's taken weeks and weeks to count ballots. I think I could sit down with my family in the living room and count them as fast as they're getting counted. And so I just want to urge, I would love to see our county just stand out among the counties of California as, boy, when that election's in, we've got results very quickly. I know you have to wait a certain amount of time to certify them and all that, but that the results are in and everybody can just feel real good about it, whether you're on the winning or losing side. Hey, everything was run right and honest and upright and competently. And so I just have been very concerned as I've watched it just take week after week after week for votes to be tabulated. It just seems unnecessary. It seems an undermining factor to elections and feeling good about them. And I know it's kind of a thing that seems to be spreading across our country in many places. There are places that they were all counted that very night, which is pretty amazing. And it's the way it should be, and the way it used to be, and the way it could be. And so I hope that whatever oversight you have, we can encourage whatever team is doing this to, in 2 years, just be the one county that, 3 days later, it's all done and accounted for, and all results are in. I mean, in our little town of Patterson, there was still votes being added to the count 3 weeks later, out of, just a couple thousand, 3,000 votes, 4,000 votes. I'm like, how is it taking this long to count 4,000 votes? So at any rate, I'm just calling to urge us to have in place a system to get the votes counted quickly and give people more confidence in the elections. I think that would help greatly. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, next up I have Joni Greep. Joni? And speaking of elections, we want to congratulate Joni on her election and her win to the school board, Sylvan School Board. When you think about, we have so many people that come here, and all of us in our days, where we stand up and take a stand on things and have opinions, and we always, I think it's great when somebody actually puts their money where their mouth is. And whether you agree or disagree, Joni stood up and had concerns, and then she actually ran for an office to try to make a difference. So we congratulate you on that. So anyway, I'm giving you like a start here. Sorry about that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that very much. I want to bring back the issue of the fentanyl crisis, and I just don't want it to be something that falls through the cracks and falls by the wayside in our county. So I just want to start with a request that at some point in the future that our county gives our community another update. I don't know if you guys had asked our DA to come and speak to the county or if that was her idea, but if someone could update our county in the future, whether it's the DA again or public health or even our sheriff, or all three, that'd be awesome, to give the community kind of a like, okay, in I believe it was in August or September when our nation's DEA brought forth the like, hey, this is a fentanyl crisis. In 2021, there was like over 100,000 Americans that died from fentanyl overdose. If we could give our county an update as far as like, are our interventions working? Is anything improving? Is the situation becoming more dire? But at the same time, I want to thank you guys for being men of action on this. And it was a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, my school district gave us an update on fentanyl and the resources and education that our county provided for them, and that we will be now having Narcan at our school sites. And thank you for that, because this is a real crisis that faces our children. And I am just grateful for your leadership. I'm grateful for how you listen to facts, that you are a fact-driven board, that you're men of action, and that you listen well to our community. So I hope that you take that into consideration and give us an update on the fentanyl crisis at some point in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Joni. And we actually, we have an opioid coalition summit on Thursday coming up here. It starts at 9 o'clock on Thursday at the Modesto Center Plaza, which is going to be all about the crisis that we're dealing with, and we do plan to continue to try to do all we can with public service announcements and to make people aware. So thank you for that, Johnny. Okay, next up I have Nora Ho. Nora Ho. Nora, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. My name is Nora Ho. I'm a provider, IHSS provider for my son Alvin, and it really saddened me because he was a 4.0 student, a valedictorian, and he became disabled. And I feel like, why? But I know I'm not to question it because everything is in God's hands. And I feel like some days he wants to die, and I said, it's not for you to say when to die. It's up to God. So I'm taking care of him, which I don't mind, being a mother, but also as a caregiver. But there's a lot of these clients that are not family members, but they're willing to take care of them. And yet, we're not getting a wage increase. Why? Even fast food workers get more money than us. And when you go up to a hamburger place, you get a ticket, and that's all you are. You're a number, not a person. And we are essential worker, whereas you might think we're babysitters, but we're not. It's a 24/7 hour job. And even though I don't get that many hours, I still have to work through every day with him. And it's very hard. And I'm hoping that you would give us a fair raise because we are essential worker. And if God was to be here, Jesus was to be here, he would see the compassion. Where is your compassion for us? Because all the money we get, the funding, it goes back to the community. It isn't like we go out for fancy restaurant or go out to eat or even take a trip. I can't afford to take a trip. I'm retired now. And I have health issues, but I still, every day I'm thankful I'm still alive. So I hope you would take it in consideration with my family to give us a decent raise. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. Okay, next up we have Maria Mejia. Maria's not here? Okay. Okay. And then next up, AstraZeneca. Good morning, Astrid. How are you?
Morning. I'm all right. And yourself?
Good, thank you.
Good. So, for those who don't know in this room, my name is Astrid Zuniga. I am the statewide vice president for United Domestic Workers, AFSCME Local 3930. But most importantly, I'm a mom, and I'm an IHSS care provider to that son, Manny, who has autism, intellectual disabilities, and epilepsy. You know, it's been said time and time again that IHSS providers like me, the folks in this room and in your counties, communities, care for seniors and people with disabilities. And there's a care crisis happening here in Stanislaus County. You heard one example earlier. And there's two ways to fix this. Invest in IHSS. Invest in making this a job that people want to go to. If you're not doing that, then you're devaluing the work that these workers do. As it was said earlier, this is an essential workforce. It should be recognized as that. Most of these providers make close to minimum wage, but yet they're providing the most critical work, and they're amongst the lowest paid workers in the state and in this county. It's a shame that this county can't recognize that. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty freaking tired of having to come here week in and week out since June to ask for pennies, to beg, to have my home care providers begging for pennies. It's a shame. Every dollar that this county spends on this program, $8 of the state and federal monies come into it. And that money is spent locally. You heard Nora say she's not taking trips, she's not buying stocks and bonds, buying homes. It's spent here locally. Where else can you gain $8 by spending $1? Sounds pretty financially sense to me. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about the costs to the county and about the IHSS workers as a workforce. I myself and many of these providers and others across the state lobbied to make sure that there was not going to be any other impacts to the counties on the state level. We fought really hard for that so that you all didn't have to bear the brunt of the costs of this program. But the least you can do is bargain in good faith and with a decent conscience. Your offer may feel generous to you all, but by not offering a living wage and a one-time pandemic pay, all other county workers and city workers and essential workforces got those. I guess we're not respected enough. And by not doing that, you guys are contributing to the very problems that you are trying to address in many of your other programs, your Stanislaus 2030, trying to lift families with children out of poverty and bringing them to that good jobs bracket. Well, you surely aren't doing that by offering workers pennies, quarters, nickels, dimes. That's not the way that you bring your community's workforce and families out of that poverty level and get them into a good situation. Again, I'm getting pretty tired of this, and I feel like it's kind of falling on deaf ears. But I hope that you guys will reconsider our requests that we've made. It's not too much to ask. And this county has the money to do it, regardless of what might be being told to you all. You know it. I know it. It's all in the line items. We know. So we're asking that you please reconsider our offer, and hopefully I won't see you anymore the rest of this holiday season, at least not here in this capacity. But outside of that, I wish you all the best, and may you have a blessed holiday.
Thank you, Astrid. Okay, next up I have Pamela Garrison. Pamela? Pamela, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. So to the Board of Supervisors, to all the public and all my fellow UDW caregiver workers, my name is Pamela R. Garrison. I am an IHSS provider as well. I care for my daughter. She is 29 years old. Autism, nonverbal, and epilepsy is my daily journey. Caregivers like me, and as you've heard before, we work around the clock, nonstop. And we're working hard to keep our loved ones and our clients in their homes and out of costly institutions that's going to cost this county more money. I don't think you understand the entirety of the work that we do. We bathe our clients. We have to make sure that they're taking their medicines. We're checking blood pressures. We're checking all the vital signs. We're keeping track of their progress. All of these things are necessary. We have to take them to their doctor's appointments. We coordinate with other care providers to make sure that we're all on the same page, because one mistake can cause a life. So you have to keep track of all of these different things. We shop, we cook, we clean, we bathe, we do laundry. We do all of these assignments. We also perform all the paramedical care, like changing catheters. And in my case, my daughter has a G-tube. She was recently hospitalized in November for a bowel blockage. And again, as I said, she's nonverbal. So the whole process of going through the emergency and communicating to the doctors what it is she needed was very tiring. And because I'm an IHSS provider, whenever she's hospitalized, I'm not paid. But however, because I'm a mother, I have to stay with her because she cannot communicate for herself. And it's interesting that I provide the same service as the nurses and the CNAs. And I'm the one that's teaching them how to do her G-tube, and they are medically trained years beyond me. But yet, my service is not valued. So I want you to take a moment to imagine with me what would happen in this county if there were no caregivers. What would happen in your life if suddenly somebody in your family cannot take care of themselves? And as one of the other providers said, it is hard to find a quality worker in this county, because once you tell them 1550, nobody wants to hear you. I myself left a job after 25 years in order to care for my daughter, to care for my family, and to care for those that were around me. And it was a shock to my system. I'm still nowhere near what I used to provide or make, but however, I am doing triple time the work. So as you imagine not having caregivers, how quickly our hospitals will fill up again, I think COVID proved that to us. COVID also proved to us how essential a caregiver really is, because during that time, we couldn't even have workers really go into the homes without definitely checking and constantly testing, and then risking your life to go be around other people. We were right in the trenches, right along with all of the other medical staff. And I just want you to just recognize all that we provide and all that we do. Now, we can't go on a strike. We're a union, but we can't, because we value the service that we provide, and we know it's going to hurt the clients that we serve should we take such drastic actions. But on the other hand, we're wondering what else can we do? And so with that, we're before you once again saying, please consider increase in our wages. Because just like the workers that we saw valued here today, it was beautiful to see, but it made me wonder, as a caregiver, how am I valued? And that's all we want. We want to be valued, and we want that value to be shown in the wages that we make and the service that we provide. Thank you for your listening ear.
Thank you, Pamela. Okay, thanks, Pamela. Next up, we have Kathleen Hernandez. Kathleen, good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today and to let the supervisors of Stanislaus County and Modesto's chambers listen. I'm recently now working for my mother, and I'm 70. My mother's 94, and she does have need in her home to stay in her home. My brother had requested that me and my husband would come and stay and live with her at this particular time in her life. Otherwise, she would be in a home where I would probably not be able to see her as much as I am seeing her now. So we're enjoying her at this very moment and this time, and we are really enjoying my mom. But in the transition, I started in June 15th. My husband and I had an apartment. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. We had walk-in closets. It was a nice apartment. It was comfortable, and we liked it. But I was looking for, another location, and so I'm moving in with my mom, and hopefully this location, well, my mom's location is better, and that's a plus. The second thing is I don't get paid as much as I was getting paid at the job I was, and we need to get more income, and we're all together, 4 of us together. So, and my husband had a government phone. He is not allowed for it anymore. So he had to get phones for him and me through T-Mobile. We went through a senior program. But the money that comes to us, you think, well, what do these people do? They stay in their home, they take care of, we have to take care of them. And I get an hour and 57 minutes per day at $15.50. My husband is helping him now. He is not getting anything. He's just there in my home with my mom, with my mother's home, and my brother as well. And they're there, and hopefully I can go back and go see them right now, because I don't want to leave them very long. But $15.50, think about it. What can that buy for one person, if I didn't have a husband? That would even be worse. And a lot of these caregivers don't have husbands, but they have children to support. They have mothers and dads. And guess what? They can't leave when they want to, because they can't get anybody to help them. I haven't taken a day off. And when I did take a day off, I had my second cousin come in and help me for 3-4 hours. Luckily, she said yes, because she has a husband too that she has to care for. And but to make it, it does. I appreciate that I can come in and talk. And so thank you for listening. I hope you increase the wage. Please pray about raising our wages. If you're a prayerful person and you're trusting in the Lord and God, and you're really want to serve the community, supervisors, please consider raising our pay, because guess what? He did it for all of us. He died on the cross. He gave up everything for us. And guess what? All we have to do is accept him and say yes. And that's what I'm doing. I accepted it. It's a responsibility. It's either down below, which is hot and fire and you're by yourself and big demons, or up with the Lord Jesus. And I thank you. God bless you.
Thank you,
happy,
Kathleen.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. God bless you, too. Okay, next up we have Corinne Whitlow. Corinne? Corinne, good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good morning, gentlemen. Corinne Whitlow with Take a Stand Stanislaus. I'm happy to join you gentlemen here today as we do welcome our new public health officer. Although that is not the reason I am here, it is my hope that her experience locally, your guys' guidance, and actual people in the communities can come together to provide a well-rounded support system that supports a healthy community. And that's what I'm here to talk about, is what we can do. There's two things I believe that we can do to support a healthy community. We can provide a better checks and balance system and have great leaders like yourself take an active role in our children's public school experience. First, please consider a resolution which would prohibit any one person from having total control during public health emergencies. Public health emergency orders should go through a 5-person multidisciplinary committee for approval before being released to the public. This will not only help with communication about what's going on, but communication moving forward. We believe that providing a checks and balance system would hopefully prevent our children, our grandparents, and our neighborhood businesses from suffering the burden of unnecessary policies like we've experienced. When the local emergency for COVID-19 was terminated March 8th of this year, the Stanislaus Public Health covered 6 goals. Goal number 4 was to maximize community treatment services to keep people healthy and avoid unnecessary hospitalizations by establishing an advisory group of community physicians to inform actions and assist with messaging. All the right words were there, but was there any action behind those words? The need for a community-based multidisciplinary team in emergency situation is obvious for a well-rounded system, and a resolution establishing one would be a great start. I also want to remind you, our previous public health officer told us March 16th of 2021 that COVID-19 vaccines were 100% effective against death. I have the slides. That meeting, you gentlemen also sent a letter to the governor, basically begging him for local control to allow our children back into school, stating that childhood hospitalizations for mental health crises in our community were up 28%. No one can tell us that these short-sighted policies won't be pushed back on our most vulnerable groups again. All in the name of public health and all in the name of saving the hospitals, which I remind you continued to profit. That's where we come in. For the most part, we are already doing something. You gentlemen on the board, those who come to these meetings time after time, we have something that we're trying to protect. Some of us, it's our family. Some of us, it's our values. For you, Board of Supervisors, you guys are also trying to protect something as well. I wanted to acknowledge Manny and Chance's weekly updates that they put on Facebook. I love to see those. It really helps us see what you guys are doing out in our community. So I want to challenge you gentlemen to take more of an active role in our children's education. Form a committee, host a town hall, go to school board meetings, meet with these board members. We can continue to brainstorm ideas, but the facts are we have a unique opportunity in Stanislaus. You have frontline community members who are willing to step up and support your community's health. By this time, you guys know our intentions. Please help us provide a well-balanced system locally, which includes active leaders and a checks and balance system in emergency situations. Thank you.
Thanks, Corinne. Thank you. Okay, the last speaker card I have is for Ken Schroeder. Ken, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I want to say about the situation with the IHSS workers that how we spend our money as a county reflects what our values are. And I hope that you can see it in your hearts to value the IHSS workers and the people that they care for. They are essential workers that need a living wage, and we all know that the wage they're earning is not a living wage, which leads to economic distress and to further poverty in our county. Seniors and persons with disability need caregivers, and many of them do not have that because of the lack of a living wage. I urge you to settle the union contract negotiations in a fair and equitable way that will help the workers and the people that they care for. The core of the work that these folks do is caring and compassion, and I ask you as decision makers to also act with care and compassion. And I know that as public servants, you have great care for our community, so I ask you to act on that in this situation. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, that's the last speaker card I had. Is there any, come on down. If anybody else would like to come, just kind of line up here. If you, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Board. How are you guys? Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. I'm just coming before the Board this morning to ask for a consideration to make sure that we do not go back into a state of emergency. There are some other counties in the state that have gone back into state of emergencies for RSV, and kind of just piggybacking off of what Corinne said about the school closures and all that, we've seen how detrimental it was to our kids, and we just are really trying to protect them. And the mask mandates as well, we've seen that, you know, there are studies for both sides that it does protect or it doesn't protect, and that should be everyone's choice. So I'm just asking today for the Board to consider making it a, maybe put something on the agenda or have a meeting with you guys to just consider no state of emergencies for our county. Thank you.
Can I get your name? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes, Courtney Peters, I'm
Courtney,
sorry.
yes, I'm sorry, Courtney. Thank you. Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak during public comment before we move on here? Come on down. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, good, thank you. I am Evelyn Landeros, and I'm here because I do want to speak in behalf of IHSS. They are essential workers, and they do deserve the raise that they're asking for. They're also deserving of more health and vision. T-Mobile's actually doing something that I really like. They have a donation for no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality in education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industrial innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, substantial cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, partnerships for the goals. You can actually go online and you can watch an ad for 10 cents and they match everything, so it's something that I like to do. Every day you could donate $3 and T-Mobile will match the 3, so it'll be $6. Over time it adds up. You know, if T-Mobile's doing it for other places and to help our communities, then I think that our community and our county can also do that for essential workers. Also I do have the whole, we come into you know, the liberty and everything under God, and I do believe that if you do stand under the Bible as you do say, then I believe that your heart should be open and not be able to hold yourself back from helping others. And if that's something that you don't see yourself doing, then I don't know what you're doing here in the council trying to help and stand up for the people here. I don't believe that you belong here if that's not a choice you're willing to make to help others, to make our community grow. So I hope that everybody finds it in their hearts to go ahead and give that to them. Under the immigration status that I've also been wondering, I haven't heard or seen anything change, and it's something that everybody's been fighting. So I definitely do want to see any updates on that newspaper-wise or any other things. You know, just keep the ball rolling on that also. And so that's kind of pretty much everything I wanted to say. Today, the prayer for today, I would say, is, God, thank you for being my provider and for caring about my needs. Everything I have is because of your goodness and provision, and I want to use what I have to bless others. Give me opportunities each day to be generous with what you've given me. In Jesus' name, amen. And I hope you find that in your hearts as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Evelyn. Okay, is there anybody else who'd like to speak before we move on? Okay, seeing none, we are going to move on to our consent calendar. And Jody, you want to make a quick comment about consent?
Yeah, just a quick acknowledgement. First is that we have 3 items on the consent calendar that do require a 4/5 vote today. Also want to acknowledge that we're required by the government code to read into the record anytime we're hiring a department head position. And today on today's consent calendar, we're very, very pleased to bring to you the approval of the appointment for Dr. Thea Papasos-Menos to the position of Public Health Officer with a starting annual salary of approximately $265,000 per year effective December 18th, 2022. Dr. Papasos-Menos will also be receiving department head benefits consistent with other department head positions. We're thrilled to bring that recommendation to you today on the consent calendar. And I also just want to acknowledge we're going to try to make sure we get that pronunciation of that name correctly. Hopefully we're close so far. So thank you.
Okay, and maybe while we're there, let's, if Dr. Papa could stand up so everybody could see and introduce Dr. Papa, our new Public Health Director. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we got a lot going on with the consent calendar here. We're going to pull a couple items. I guess we're not going to pull B6 at this point, are we? Okay, so we're going to pull item C1 on the consent calendar. And we already talked about item A4 is off, and so we'll look for a motion. Does anybody else have any other items they want to pull from consent? Anybody from the audience want to pull any consent items? Okay, seeing none, we'll come back and look for a motion with everything except for the item C1.
Motion to approve all items other than C1. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay, we're going to go to item C1.
Yeah, I had asked for this to be pulled. I just had a couple of comments. If anyone knows C1, the item, it's regarding the partnership at Stanislaus Regional Water Authority partnership between Turlock Irrigation District, City of Ceres, City of Turlock. They have a water treatment plant that's currently being built down around Foxgrove and Houston, say Gear and Hatch Road. The facility, and then they're running lines to Ceres down Hatch Road, and to Turlock they ran down Aldridge, Aldridge, Fox, Berkeley, Taylor, and Quincy Road. I think that was about 6 miles. So what we have on the agenda today is an item for reimbursement of some of the costs of repaving the road, a 2-inch overlay, essentially a 2-inch overlay. And the project manager, and it took me a little while, but I see Robert Granberg here. Rob, who's in charge of the whole project, doing the whole project. Thank you for being here. And he sat at a table with me and sat and listened to some unhappy people due to the inconvenience of doing it. But it's an important project, no doubt about it. It's extremely important. Today, it's regarding a reimbursement. So the conversation I think that we had originally was that they had taken a lane and put a pipe, a different size pipe, depending on where you are, in one lane of the road, and they were going to pave one lane of the road. And as you know, the factor of just putting one lane back with a 2-inch overlay and the other one having some damage from the roadway. Dave Lehman, our Public Works Director, we had talked about paving the other lane, obviously, and adding 2 feet, because most of those are country roads that had about a 10-foot or 11-foot travel lane, so they put 2 extra feet. And now we have before us is the reimbursement. The reason I'm pulling this item, again, to talk about what it is, first of all, you cannot pave one lane of the road. That is just not a possibility. The people would come unglued. It'd be a disappointment for us, too, if we did it. And talking with Mr. Granberg, he said that they couldn't do the paving of the second lane. Dave had agreed originally to, we have lane closure. Is that what it's called? I call it lane closure. So when we close, here comes Dave, because he's going to try and clean up for my mistakes. But people pay when they need to close a road to do infrastructure work. They pay the county, and I think that ended up being about $500,000. I thought that was going to be higher. I thought, but apparently it's not. So now the reimbursement is higher. So again, because of what I've seen, we've been through this before when we were talking about the regional recycling water on Lemon Road, the city of Modesto, when they ran the tertiary water, they paved the whole road. So I'm disappointed to see that we're paying so much money. I thought we were going to pay for the 2 feet, only to the additional 2 feet, and because I know it can be done government agency to government agency. And what I'm here to say is that we need to change our rules, because this, had we not put the money that we received for the lane closure, and there's the additional $400,000 plus dollars, had we not done that, you would have everyone on those roads completely unglued, because we'd have one nice lane and the other one. And so I think it's important, because Turlock now, they have trench cut fees, and I think in these roads there's about 40, at least 40, a minimum of 40 between Quincy all the way down to the river, where they pave the road and then they cut in. And so now we've got, and they did a pretty good job. Some places they didn't do as good a job. So, you know, I hear from all the constituents that, what are we doing here? You pave a new road and then you cut in and you have to put, but that's a part of their system. And again, I don't know how many breather valves and other things they need that are required. But we need to set policy so that we don't get stuck paving because there's damage on the roads and they're either going to skip pave. And there's nothing, you know, again, Robert, I'm glad you're here to listen to this, but it's nothing that you haven't heard from me before. It just can't be our responsibility and to do that if we allow people to use the right-of-way. And Turlock now has when you do a trench cut fee, you can't fill a 2-foot trench or 3-foot trench. They make you pay 25 or 30 or 50 feet to the center line. And so we just need to be smarter about it. Again, there obviously is no rule against it. I know you've said that before, Mr. Granberg, but that's not the case, because I've seen it done without us literally having to ask, if I remember right. And so, again, I'm not going to sit here and ask you to deny this. I'm just telling you there's a little frustration in that the way this has come around for me.
Dave, you're up.
Good morning, Chairman and CEO Hayes, board members. Supervisor Case is right. I think at some point we are going to ask for a policy decision here. Previously on large pipeline projects, PG&E, City of Modesto, we've been able to negotiate something that was good for the residents of those roads while the roads are being used as essentially utility easements, which is legal. It's just time spent. Staff spent a lot of time working on this, and it would be a lot easier if we had an ordinance for pipeline restoration. So large diameter pipelines where there's road closures, we would like the whole road put back. In Lemon and D5 got repaved, Supervisor Condit, and it looks really good, and the neighborhood appreciated it. So it just would be helpful to have that hammer, that tool. Hammer's maybe a strong word, but if we had that tool in our toolbox, and so we'll come back to the board at some point with a proposed ordinance change.
I can also bring up one other, when PG&E put in a pipeline, Whitmore, I can give you the same roads, but it was through my district. Our agreement with them is they paved Roding Road, and we allowed a complete closure of Whitmore Road, so we had a bypass road. And so we traded, but they paved a whole road. It was the same situation. So I know it can be done. They did a portion of Berkeley where they had to close. That was between Santa Fe and Keys. and was in those negotiations with Matt Machado. So it's just something for us to consider. I know that we have the money through Measure L. Luckily, we have the money through Measure L. But in the future, when we do these, and Robert, I'm going to tell you, a great job, on time, it's going to be under budget. It is the most important, and I consider this the most important project for those two cities that they've seen, better than the tertiary treated, the regional tertiary treated water. I never remember the name, what they call themselves, but SRWA will be more important because water quality is, dilution is the only solution. We keep talking about that on a go-forward basis, and so I'm not, again, opposed to the project. We have to be tighter and or give you more leeway to negotiate.
So Sylvia, I just want to make sure. So you said you referred to Turlock as like a trenching fee. So you're saying we should have something like that, like a policy
it's how they
with a fee.
how they fix their road, and they do a center line. So, but they're now. If you look at if you come out, I can show you, but they cut into the road. So the pipeline's in the middle of the road, but they got to put breather valves or they have to put manholes. And so they did that afterwards. And they needed to pave some of the roads. I understand why they did it. It just becomes difficult because in some of those areas where the patching job isn't great, now you've got and some of them are perfect. And again, and no fault, it's impossible to do it really well unless you grind and you pave 25 feet or something.
Okay. So you'll come back.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Vito.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve C1.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to our public hearing here, and we'll start off with Teresa and Angela. Good morning, guys. How are you?
You're waiting for your
Wait,
speaker.
get your mic going there.
Didn't realize it wasn't working. Good morning. Good morning, Chair Withrow, members of the board. I'm Angela Freitas, your County Planning Director, and with me is Teresa McDonald, Project Planner, who will be presenting this project.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Again, Teresa McDonald, Associate Planner, here to present the Williamson Act contract cancellation and lot line adjustment application number PLN 2020-0056 Foster. This is a request to cancel a 0.66 acre portion of Williamson Act contract number 1974-1663 to allow the lot lines of two parcels to be adjusted from 0.34 and 12.28 acres to 1 and 11.62 acres in size to address the encroachment of accessory buildings, a domestic water well, and a septic system that's serving an existing single-family residence on the adjacent 0.34 acre parcel. The 12.28 acre parcel is enrolled in the Williamson Act, while the 0.34 acre parcel is not. A cancellation is required for the reduction in size of the contracted parcel. If approved, the resulting 11.62 acre parcel will be enrolled in a new Williamson Act contract. The project site is located at 6232 and 6248 Carver Road between Ladd and Costner Roads in the Modesto area. The parcel has a general plan designation of agriculture and a zoning designation of general agriculture A240. Adjacent land uses include orchards, row crops, and scattered single-family dwellings in all directions. The city of Modesto is located approximately 1.8 miles to the south of the project site. The 0.34 acre home site is currently improved with a single-family dwelling and detached garage. The 12.28 acre parcel is planted in orchard and is improved with a barn, shed, 2 detached accessory structures, and a septic system and well that serve the 0.34 acre parcel. These encroaching improvements are the reason for the request. No changes in the land use are proposed as part of the project. Here is the configuration of the parcels before the lot line adjustment. And here is the configuration after the lot line adjustment, with the 0.34 acre home site being adjusted to 1 acres in order to contain the accessory building, septic system, and well. As previously stated, the project site has a general plan designation of agriculture and a zoning designation of general agriculture A240. Under the A2 regulations, parcels involved in a lot line adjustment may be adjusted when one parcel is already below the minimum lot area of the zone and no new non-conforming parcels are created, provided that this is to address for a physical encroachment. In order to execute the lot line adjustment, a cancellation is required for the portion of the existing Williamson Act contract due to the reduction of the contract by 0.66 acres. As required by state law, the Stanislaus County Assessor determined that the current fair market value of the land to be $36,300 and the cancellation fee, which is equal to 12.5% of the valuation, to be $4,538. The cancellation request was to refer to the Department of Conservation, who responded with no comment. In order for a Williamson Act contract to be canceled, the Board of Supervisors must hold a public hearing on the request and make general findings, including but not limited to finding that the cancellation is consistent with the purposes of the Williamson Act and is in the public interest. More specifically, the two required findings cannot be made unless the project has filed a notice of non-renewal, is not likely to remove adjacent land from agriculture, will not cause discontiguous patterns of urban development. The cancellation is requested for an alternative use, which is consistent with the general plan, that there are public concerns or benefits outweighing the objectives of the Williamson Act, and that there is no proximate non-contracted land which is both available and suitable for the use to which it is proposed the contracted land be put.
Teresa, I'm just going to interrupt you real quick. Manny just realized that he has a potential conflict, and he's talking with the attorney, so that's why he stepped away here.
Okay.
Real quick, can we just wait just 1 second?
Yeah.
And if he does, he won't come back.
Okay.
And if he doesn't, he'll be back.
Okay.
So we'll just...
He's locked out.
Looks like there's not a conflict. All right, let's keep
Depends on
going.
how close you are.
Better
Do
be
you
safe
want me
than
to go
sorry.
back, Manny, to miss any slides or no?
No.
No, okay.
All right, thanks, Teresa. Keep going.
Under the notice of non-renewal, the Williamson Act contract on the remaining 11.62 acres will expire on December 31st, 2029. In order to rescind the existing contract and re-enter into a new contract as part of the lot line adjustment process, the required findings are that the new contract would restrict the adjusted boundaries for an initial term for at least as long as the unexpired term of the rescinded contract or contracts. There is no net decrease in the amount of acreage restricted. At least 90% of the land under the former contract remains under the new contract. The parcels of land subject to contract will be large enough to sustain their agricultural use, and that the adjustment would not compromise the long-term agricultural productivity of the parcel, result in removal of adjacent land from agricultural use, or result in a greater number of developable parcels than existed prior to the adjustment. Staff has reviewed the project and has determined that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to guideline section 15061, the common sense exception, and that there is no evidence in the record that this action will have a direct or significant physical impact on the environment. Staff recommends that the Board of Supervisors approve this request. The findings required for project approval are listed in the staff recommendations section of the board report and include findings regarding environmental review, Williamson Act cancellation findings, and rescission and reentry findings. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions, as is the project representative. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Teresa. Any questions for Teresa from the board? Seeing none, we are going to then open our public hearing. Anybody from the public have any comments, concerns, questions on this item? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. Further comments, questions, or a motion?
I motion to approve staff recommendations.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you guys very much, Teresa and Angela.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 7.1, approval to establish a Stanislaus County Ag Livestock Pass Program. And Kamal. Kamal, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Chair Withrow. Okay, good morning again. Chair Withrow, members of the board, CEO Hayes, and County Council Bose. I'm Kamal Bagri, your County Agriculture Commissioner and Sealer of Weights and Measures. With me here today is Teresa Bacatti. She is the Livestock and Natural Resources Advisor for the University of California Cooperative Extension.
We also have staff from OES, Office of Emergency Services, and Sheriff's Office in the chamber. We are here today to present Ag Livestock Pass Program. In October of 2021, Assembly Bill number 1103 was signed into law by the governor. This bill sets a statewide framework for counties to follow, allowing them to establish an Ag Livestock Pass Program in their individual counties. Last year, Agriculture Commissioner's Office met with the staff from CEO's Office, Sheriff's Office, Office of Emergency Services, UCCE, and County Council on numerous occasions to work out the details of implementing an Ag Livestock Pass Program. The concept was also presented to the Agricultural Advisory Board and the Farm Bureau Board. The department received positive input from both entities. This program is crucial in the event of any disaster, such as wildfires, floods, or earthquakes, to facilitate the care of commercial livestock. Teresa will be now going over the PowerPoint presentations with the detail about the program.
So good morning, and just to reiterate, this is really a partnership between a lot of different organizations. The Ag Commissioner is going to be the point in, I think, every county in the state that already has one set up, but it's a partner with the ranchers, with our Sheriff's Department, with Cooperative Extension at the table, as well as OES and the counties. So exactly what is an Ag Livestock Pass? It's going to be for commercial livestock owners to be able to have access to their livestock during a disaster. The Ag Commissioner will be issuing all of the passes once people have applied for it and completed a mandatory 4-hour OES CAL FIRE training. Hopefully we don't have another emergency, but we probably will. And so when that does happen, when roadblocks are established, people who have completed the process will be able to come with their pass and show it to the officer that is at the roadblock to be able to verify that they are a legitimate person that has a need to be able to get up to their livestock once the incident commander has determined that it's safe and accessible to do that. We plan on the database that we are going to be collecting as people register to be able to share that. One of the things we heard from CAL FIRE after the SCU fire on the west side was that they didn't know how to get to all of the access points for all the properties. So part of this process will be gathering some of that information, so it will be beneficial for our CAL FIRE and sheriff deputies for be able to get access during an emergency. So again, it's set for a commercial livestock, and we've set a fairly low number of 20 head or greater, and we've allowed that to be 10 cows with their 10 calves would count for their 20, so we've allowed it to be as low as possible, but still maintain it's for a commercial operation. What would not be qualified would be any Homestead Act, small ranchettes, if anyone has one 4-H project animal on the property or FFA, and of course, illegal farming activities. To be able to submit the process, they would have to come to the Ag Commissioner and fill out the information. Some basic information is gathered. We would create the database and then confirm access points and locations with the property's owners once we completed their training. Documentation that they'll need to provide would be an operator identification that has been issued by the County Ag Commissioner could be used, their IRS 1040, profit loss for farming, an APN, an ag land lease proving that they've got access to there, a Williamson Act contract, Farm Services Agency documentation, or brand registration can all be utilized to verify that they are a commercial operator. And this is sort of what the Ag Pass would look like. It would have the person's name, the ranch for where they would be going to, what they own. There would be an expiration date because there is a requirement of annual training. Also, there'd be a picture of each person, and then Kamala is going to be having them embossed so that somebody can't go and make copies at Kinko's and try to use it to get past CHP during an emergency. So again, there's an initial 4-hour mandatory training. This has been put forth by the governor in the legislation. And then the annual training has not stated exactly how much it is, but we, on a regular basis, have the CAL FIRE come to our Westside Ranchers meeting every year up in Frank Raines Park And so we anticipate that would probably meet the requirements for the annual training. We're going to hold all of these in conjunction with meetings that we already have for ranchers, that it makes it easy. It's not an extra burden for them to attend an extra meeting to go and receive the training that they would need for this pass. So again, we're going to be reminding everybody that just because they've done all of this and they've done the training does not guarantee that they get access to their property. It still comes down to if that incident commander has determined that it is safe for people to be able to go up into the wildfire area. It'll help differentiate a person with a legitimate cause versus somebody who might be trying to trespass or a looky-loo trying to do something. So somebody with a legitimate reason. And access is supposed to be only to go and take care of your livestock. You can't go and decide, oh, I forgot to remove this from the house or something. Go and care for your livestock that might need access to feed or water. You might need to evacuate them or provide medical treatment, not to stay behind the fire line for any extended period of time. It is written in there that violations could lead to personal prosecution, which we don't anticipate to happen, but maybe a more real thing could have been denial of a future application if somebody comes back to renew. And again, we're going to be reminding everybody over and over again, this is not a certificate, it's not a license. It will help allow you if the incident commander has determined it's safe. So livestock owners, when they go through the program, are going to be also reminded that they're entering at their own risk. When they put the application together, they will be signing a waiver of liability so that the county, the Ag Commissioner, and any of the other partner organizations are not held liable, that they realize they are entering voluntarily into a disaster area. And also during the training, we're going to remind them, if you're doing this, take a look at your insurance and see what you might need to do to increase your property liability. If you have employees, your vehicle insurance, so that if you do decide to enter into a wildfire or flood or an earthquake zone, that you have the proper coverage. And we wanted to end, it wasn't that long ago, just a couple of years ago, that we had the SCU fire. And I talked to a few of the people that were up there that they keep asking me, when are we going to have this here in the county? So they're very happy that we're moving forward on this. A couple of quotes from some of the guys up there. They were all asked by CAL FIRE to help push brush, to create fire breaks, because they have equipment, and CAL FIRE did not have enough equipment on this side of the hill for that fire. But they were frustrated because CHP, who was from out of the area, would not allow them to get back to their property. So a lot of them did trespass to get there. We did have the sheriffs, local sheriffs, deputies did usher people up to be able to get up to their properties, but we only have a couple of those, and they were supposed to be doing other things. So some people did trespass to get up there. They made the comment that they'll keep trespassing if we don't have an Ag Pass program in place. A lot of their water lines are PVC and melted during that fire. So they knew that they had cattle up there that didn't have access to water, might have been injured from the fire, and they wanted to be able to get up there and take care of their cattle. And I think from there, if there's any questions.
All right. Thank you, Teresa. So the Ag Livestock Program is already in place over 15 counties in the state. The Ag Commissioner's Office is anticipating around 150 applicants annually, and minimal staff impact with this program. The staff is recommending that the board accepts the report as presented and approve the implementation of the county Ag Livestock Program by the Agriculture Commissioner's Office. Thank you for your time, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Very good. Thanks, Kamal. Teresa, thank you. Any questions for Kamal, Teresa, and Buck?
Yeah, Teresa, Kamal, thank you for your presentation. I know I had a lot of questions for you at the time of the first debriefing we had on this, and I think one of the discussions was access to the detail page, or to a premise history, so to speak, of their property. They're supposed to make one up during that application process, am I correct? For access points and...
So it is not required, but it could be shared with the incident commander at the time the help is needed. So in this program, the main part we are going to be covering is for them to be able to access their property. But it has been brought to our attention that in certain counties, the help was needed from the ranchers to be able to access their property. So at that time, it would be CAL FIRE who would be requesting their help to get to those areas.
Right, and I think we talked about most of those CAL FIRE engines sometimes coming in from out of the area have no idea what they're rolling into. And I know that is my past experience. When I responded to those large incidences, the first thing I grabbed was the property owner or the rancher and put him in the engine to show us everything we needed to see to help protect his property and his livestock. In the agenda item, it states the road blockages would only be used in the SRA. Did I read that wrong?
So any area which is under our responsibility for Stanislaus County. So we wanted to make sure the liability stayed within our county jurisdiction.
Right, so as the incident, say it gets bigger and goes into maybe the mutual threat zone or the local responsibility area, those road blockage would move with it, right?
That's the hope, yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you. It's the first step towards the partnership, because we did hear a lot of comments from the ranchers that during the last fire that their help was needed, but there was no mutual understanding that they needed to get to livestock also.
Yeah, like I said, when I went to those large incidents, that's the first thing I did was found the property owner or the ranchers and got them through that. And I've also been assigned to those road blockages, and it's pure chaos. So this is going to be a great program to alleviate that.
Okay, thanks, Buck. Vito?
It's nice having a firefighter on the board. Huh? He knows. He's actually seen it. So this program, when you guys, we had our briefings, and when you pitched it, it just absolutely makes sense. And anytime we get county departments together talking OES, the Sheriff's Department, and Commissioner's Office, you always come up with good policy, right? Different people with different interests. The one choke point is CHP was a problem before, and they're not going to be as read into this, I'm guessing, and as our Sheriff's Department, because I see the undersheriff out there. And so we need to make sure we communicate to other law enforcement agencies that might have a hand. Most of these fires would be up in the hills, either the western foothills or the eastern foothills, or probably in the northern triangle. Those are probably the only places that really would have an impact on livestock. But I commend you all, and again, make sure you talk to other law enforcement agencies that this word gets out. I know it's in state statute now with the ability to do it, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to pay attention outside of their county.
And I think what I've been hearing is that CHP statewide will be informed on this, because there are so many counties that have already put this in place, that as we keep gaining momentum, everybody will be made aware.
And OES is my favorite department today.
Very good. Any other questions? Isn't that the way it always is? The state is always the impediment. If we could just do stuff ourselves in our county, we'd be fine. We still need their money, but we could.
Isn't that what the cities say about the county?
Yeah, I think so. It just passes down through. Okay. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Anybody from the audience want to talk about this? Come on up. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Candace Wyrock Patterson. I personally knew countless people who lived up in Del Puerto Canyon and San Antonio Valley during this fire that you were referencing. And all the little comments that you read, like, I know people that have said those exact things. They might even be the same person. So to see that this is something that you guys are entertaining and possibly going to approve, I think is great. I personally have a very close family friend who had to trespass to get up there to save his animals. And thank goodness he did, because they most likely would have died if he had left them up there, which was kind of cool to know that. I mean, it ended well in the end. So I am in support of this, and thank you guys for putting in the hard work to make this happen. I know it probably wasn't easy with all the red tape, so I appreciate it. And on behalf of everybody in that Patterson, San Jose, Livermore, they have Livermore address. They're in Santa Clara County, but Patterson is their closest town. So on behalf of all of them, thank you so much.
Thanks, Candace. Okay, anybody else? Okay, see none, bring it back to the board, look for an action.
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Okay, we're going to move on to item 7.2, And I have a conflict on this one, so I'm going to let Chance take over. I'm a trustee on a trust of which one of the C.W. Brower owners is a beneficiary. And so just the abundance of caution, I will step away and we'll let Chance jump in here.
Doors locked behind
They unlocked it.
They unlocked it?
Yeah, they unlocked it. We're going to wait for Supervisor Buck Condit to return before we proceed. Yep.
I'm going to power through it today. I'm moving. That's good.
All right. So let's go ahead and proceed with discussion item 7.2, the approval and consider and adopt resolution necessity to acquire real property. Mr. Lehman?
Good morning, Vice Chair Condit, board members, CEO Hayes, and County Council Bose. We're here to hear North County Corridor Resolution of Necessities. The first one, item 7.2, is to acquire real property or an interest in real property by eminent domain for the North County Corridor, and this is for APN 083-002-024, CW Brower, Inc. And today's this agenda for these two items: project description, overview of the process, and discussion of the individual properties, Brower and Fernandez. And here's the project limits. It's North County Corridor goes, phase 1 goes from Oakdale and Clarabelle, south on Oakdale Road, on the new alignment, interchange at Roselle, up and over the BNSF railroad tracks, so grade separating, a dangerous at-grade intersection, and then landing at Claus and new NCC/Clarabelle. And this is the parcel, Brower. It's at the southwest corner of Clarabelle and Roselle. And you can see that little orange bit on the right-hand side there. It's a sliver take. In the project approvals to date, Caltrans approved the CEQA NEPA on May 22nd of 2020. Those actions confirmed the alignment of Project 1B and created and approved the North County Corridor project. The public interest and necessity, the NCC project will improve the regional network circulation, relieve traffic congestion, reduce traffic delay, and accommodate future traffic on State Route 108 once all three phases are built. It will then, State Route 108 will move on to this new alignment. It supports efficient movement of goods and services and enhances traffic safety. The project has been designed to maximize the benefits to the public at large while minimizing impacts to private property owners. A thorough analysis regarding the need for each property interest was conducted in the project's planning stages. The project team has worked diligently to minimize the need for property acquisitions, and alternative 1B is the alternative, which is planned and located in the manner that is most compatible with providing the greatest public good and least private injury. These are the findings that the board needs to find, should they choose to. The public interest and necessity require the North County Corridor Project Phase 1 with the final EIS approved May 22nd, 2020. The project is planned in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and the least private injury, that the subject properties are necessary for the project, and that offer has been made to the parcel owners to be acquired. And staff recommends that we find that the public interest and necessity require the North County Corridor project. Find that the project is planned or located in the manner that will be the most compatible with the greatest public good and least private injury. Find that the subject property, APN 083-002-024, C.W. Brower, Inc., described in the resolutions attached to the staff report, are necessary for the project. Find that the offer required by Section 7267.2 of the Government Code has been made to the parcel owners of the properties to be acquired. Adopt a resolution of necessity, and authorize County Council to initiate proceedings. And I forgot to introduce my compatriot, our right-of-way agent, Jamie Lupo from AOPC. Sorry, Jamie.
Awesome. All right, thank you, Mr. Lehman. Does any board members have any comments before we turn it over to the public?
Can I just ask one question? We keep talking about alternative 1B. That's already been adopted.
Right.
And so we continue to say that it's the best one. It is the one that was chosen. So I don't know why we keep bringing it up, because it almost gives people hope that 1A or one of the other ones would have been chosen, or can still be chosen.
Right.
I guess. So
I'll check with council.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. The bit is all four alternatives in this section were all identical. So there was no differentiation, not until we got east of Claus Road.
Supervisor Condon.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dave, can you go back to the picture of the lot, kind of the overview? And the only portion that we're thinking about taking or discussing now is the orange section.
That's
right
correct.
Along the roadway.
It's about 0.2 acres.
Okay. How far up does, I know there's a single-family dwelling there.
Mhm.
How far up does that go up their driveway, and how much space are they going to have between the roadway and where their actual house is?
It's more than it looks. I think it's at least 20, 30 feet.
Okay.
It's a fair.
And as far as discussions of negotiations, have they been active?
They have. This one is solely based on price. They're not disagreeing with the need. It's just we're still negotiating price.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to open this up for public comment. Any members from the public wish to comment on this item? All right, seeing none, we're going to return to the board. Any additional comments? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the measure passes. Okay, moving on to item 7.3. Mr. Lehman? Oh, Terry's back. I was enjoying this too much, Terry.
Right.
All right, another month or so, you'll be able to sit here the whole time. Okay, so we will move on here to item 7.3. And Dave is still up.
Right, thank you. This item is a resolution of necessity to acquire real property or an interest in real property by eminent domain for the North County Corridor. The parcel in question is 083-002-032, Francisco Fernandez, Leticia Fernandez, and Estefania Fernandez. And the project limits are as described before. This one, we're taking the north portion of, or we're considering taking the north portion of their lot. All the structures will stay. So, and there's a close-up of it. You can see there's a barn and a shed and a house, and then field and trees. And that's what we're going to buy is the field and trees. Project approvals to date. Caltrans approved the CEQA NEPA on May 22nd, 2020. These actions confirmed the alignment and created the North County Corridor project. The NCC, the public interest and necessity for this parcel, Fernandez, the NCC project will improve the regional network circulation. It'll relieve existing traffic congestion, reduce traffic delay, and accommodate future traffic on State Route 108, support efficient movement of goods and services, and enhance traffic safety. Through the A rigorous environmental study and public outreach, the project has been designed to maximize the benefit to the public at large while minimizing impacts to private property owners. A thorough analysis regarding the need for each property interest was conducted in the project's planning stages. The project team has worked diligently to minimize the need for property acquisitions. Alternative 1B is the alternative which is planned and located in the manner that is most compatible with providing the greatest public good and least private injury. In the future, if and when the Phase 4 goes, this will be a full acquisition at that time. The future single-point urban interchange will require, that footprint will require the entire parcel. Key RON findings required for this parcel. Public interest and necessity require the North County Corridor Project Phase 1 EIR-EIS approved on May 22nd, 2020. Project is planned in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and least private injury. The subject property is necessary for the project. Offer has been made to the parcel owners to be acquired. And staff recommends, we find that the public interest and necessity require the North County Corridor Project. Find that the project is planned or located in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and least private injury. Find that the subject property described in the resolutions attached to the staff report are necessary. Find that the offer required by Section 7267.2 of the Government Code has been made to the parcel owners, and adopt a resolution of necessity in the form attached to the staff report, and authorize County Council to initiate eminent domain proceedings to acquire the subject property.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Any questions for Dave?
Dave, negotiations on this one?
Yeah, we're working on this one. We were originally proposing to take the whole parcel, and the owners let us know they'd really rather stay for now, and because it's centrally located to their businesses, and we were able to accommodate that, and we're working on negotiations. This one is also a price-based conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Buck. Anybody else? Yeah. Another question? Anybody from the audience? Any questions, concerns? Seeing none, we will bring it back to the board and look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will move on to correspondence.
This board has received the correspondence and claims as noted on the agenda.
I lost my little cheat notes. I'm supposed to say acknowledge receipt of claims and refer to...
Chief Executive.
Refer as recommended on the agenda.
Very good. As recommended on the agenda. Very good. Thank you. Lost my notes. Okay. We'll move on. Any Board of Supervisor reports? I think we have a few here. Supervisor?
I'd just like to thank the city of Modesto. I've been advocating for some time on getting some road repair work done on Roselle, just north of Enoch's High School. And we did finally get some patch work done in there, and it's a lot better roadway now, a lot smoother anyway. So I'd just like to thank them.
Okay. Thanks, Buck. Thanks, City of Modesto. Vito?
It's funny, I saw a patch truck on John Fox Road for the first time in my 14 years, because I never call them on my road. I always think that, I don't know, I have some problem with that. And they were out there, they did a bang-up job. So kudos to your patch crew. I did tell them that. So I wanted to report out really quickly from the California State Association of Counties, CSAC, our annual meeting that was held down in Anaheim. I wanted to report that the Supervisor Chance Condit, Supervisor Buck Condit, Supervisor Manny Graywall, and myself, CEO Hayes, Clerk King, Liz King, and our communications. I always write down these things because I have to ask Sonia every time. Public Relations and Communications Director Sonia Saveri we're all present. I think that was it, right?
Lehman.
Public Works. Oh, Public Works Lehman. He's on the list. And so CSAC, you wonder why we take a big crew down there, but CSAC is the annual meeting, is the culmination of policy decisions that are made by the 58 counties. We adopt policy, and essentially that's what 58 counties can agree on. And if you understand that from Del Norte County down to San Diego, the coastline to the San Joaquin Valley, everyone has different opinions. So it's really important as an organization to get as much consensus as possible. There are 4 standing committees: Administration of Justice, Land Use and Transportation, Health and Human Services, and, I said 4. Government Finance. I know I've got it written here. I scrambled some of this down. And so we had the opportunity, you have these meetings, policy is adopted. They usually give presentations at each one where we were attending. As much as I love that, I always think the value of CSAC goes beyond that. It's the ability to connect with other supervisors, talk individually about problems they're having in their county, problems you're having, because we certainly don't have a corner on the good ideas market here in Stanislaus County. It takes other people and a lot of smart people to come up with good policy. I did have an opportunity to speak at the CSAC California Roundtable. I spoke on cannabis along with someone from Mendocino to give a different perspective. Supervisor Graywall spoke at the new Supervisors Institute, and there's a lot of value from the new supervisors who have been here a couple of years to sit down and tell these folks that just got elected. Some of them are deer in the headlights. Some of them came from other elected offices, but some were just like us. They were citizens, and then they were elected officials, and how you act and what the rules are. And so there's great value in that. We also have a San Joaquin caucus that we attended, the 8 Valley counties, where we actually have our own platform, things that we want to see done. We're very fortunate that I think 7 of the 8 counties are represented by the same state advocate. And so that makes it a little bit easier for us to come to consensus. But this year there was also a water summit. So a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I was chairman of the Natural Resources, Environment and Natural Resources. They added that E. And Chris Howard, who is a supervisor from up in Del Norte County, was my vice chair at the time. He said, we need to have the water summit. And I said, I'm not going to have a water summit. Well, I'm chair because you can't get 58 counties to agree on anything with regards to water. And he's chairman now, and he had the water summit, and it was awesome. And I always find these things just amazing, because you've got all the water comes from the Shasta area, right? The majority of it in the state of California has got to come through the Delta. So you've got San Joaquin, Contra Costa, Alameda, San Francisco that care about water flows and water quality in the Delta. We're kind of in our unique situation in Stanislaus and Merced and South San Joaquin, and then you get anywhere south, and they just need water. And it's a water quantity issue. And so you hear lots of differing opinions, but we came up with some pretty minor policy, but again, it's policy nonetheless that we can agree on. And I'm not going to speak on behalf, I'll let the other supervisors speak, but again, I walk away energized, knowing there's so many committed folks, again, with differing views. They all sit down and talk about what's important to us, and we come up with policies we can live with.
Thanks, Vito. Anybody else want to talk about CSAC? Okay, I'm just going to throw in one last thing. A week ago, not last Friday, the Friday before, I went up to a meeting up at the governor's office. He had called all the chairs since I'm the chair this year, that's why I was up there, for all 58 counties, plus the large mayors from large cities to come up and talk about the HAP funding. And he had frozen all that money. It has to do with homeless funding, and he had frozen it all because he was disappointed with the results as far as getting people off the streets, as he should be. And so I went up for that meeting, and it was just a big round table with the governor, and majority of the comments, people were very just concerned that they were going to lose their funding, and it really should be more about the results. There seems to be confusion as far as I'm concerned. The difference between homelessness and a housing shortage. There is a housing shortage in California. It has nothing to do with our homeless populations that are on the street. Most of these people have serious drug, alcohol, and mental health issues. That's why they're on the street. If you could fix that, they'll get off the streets. They still have family that'll love them, that will give them homes and places to live again once some of their issues are corrected. So it was a little disappointing sitting there and listening to everybody just complaining about their funding. Don't cut our funding off. We need our funding still for our programs, when really we're not making any headway. I think most of the low-hanging fruit has been taken care of within our county, as far as individuals who are willing to accept shelters and the various programs and stuff we put together. the people that are still out in the street have serious problems, whether it's substance use disorders or severe mental illness, and we need to get those people into treatment, and as far as I'm concerned, we need to get them in voluntarily. And most of them do have outstanding warrants. We have ways that we can do that. And so I guess I walked away from there thinking that that we need to not count on the state to help us, that we need to do this ourselves here in our county. And I'm looking forward to, I know Jody and a lot of us are working on trying to figure out ways to do this and to get these individuals into treatment. They will die on the streets if we don't. And we need to get them into treatment, and we're trying to figure out how to do that. So it was interesting to be at the meeting, a little disappointing to see it was business as usual. Like I said, I understand why the governor would be frustrated with the results, and we do need to come up with different ideas, but we're going to figure it out here in our county, and I think we can do that hopefully sooner rather than later here now at this point. So that's where I was on that Friday. So, okay, I want to, before we, first, Jody, any legislative fiscal management report? CEO Jody Hayes.
No report, but we do have an announcement that we want to make. We have an upcoming workshop of the Board of Supervisors that's scheduled for this coming Monday, December 5th at 9 a.m. We'll be meeting at the Graffiti USA Classic Car Museum, which is located at 610 North 9th Street here in Modesto. We try to conduct at least 2 board workshops per year. Provides us an opportunity to dialogue with the board on various strategies that will be coming before us in the next year. So that's our plan for next Monday. Just wanted to make that announcement.
Very good. Thanks, Jody. And I want to thank Deputy Castillo for being here today. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out, Jody and Corinne and Candace and Courtney. Very good. Thank you. And the kids were great. I mean, I wish my kids would be climbing the walls. My grandkids would be climbing the walls. Very well behaved. I don't know how you do that, but we were. Thank you, guys. And if there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Closed session.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we do have a closed session today, Tom. Sorry, I almost left you out there.
Yes, we have closed session this morning. We have 2 items. The first is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subdivision D2. We have 1 matter there. The county has received a settlement letter from Gabrielle Esquire, attorney for Heather Goodwin, demanding that county pay specified damages for termination of employment and other claims. This letter is available from the clerk. Second item is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subdivision D1. 1 case there, Alvin Estrada versus County of Stanislaus et al. It's in the Superior Court of California, County of Stanislaus. The case number is CV 19-003-153, and appropriate for public comment before we go into closed session.
Okay, any public comment with regard to closed session? Seeing none now, this meeting is adjourned.